Hello, welcome to my morning. It's about 8:45 p.m. Wednesday night. Go to work here at 10 o'clock. I wanted to knock out a few videos, maybe. I was watching a few last night, getting caught up on them. And of course, roughly half of them were Jay's videos. He likes videos. But he had a response video to Harvey about the YouTuber's right to privacy, and he kind of tweaked it, and YouTuber's right to respect, and they kind of got onto the topic, which I don't watch Harvey, I don't know for sure who he is, I think I do, but obviously he had a point of discussing how we thought of each other on YouTube, if we were friends, if we're just people on a computer screen, things like that. So since I haven't watched Harvey's, I'm just going to kind of respond to Jay's. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that I watch. There's about 40-some that I subscribe to, and I'm sure there's a lot more that I would, but it's hard to find time to watch everybody's and to keep up on them. But there are a handful of them out there that I would consider my friend. And of course my wife, if she peeks in, she kind of thinks this whole thing that I do is funny. She doesn't think it's weird anymore, but she thinks it's funny. It's just kind of that one-way dialogue of people that smoke pipes. I can see your point, but not to get off the subject, but there are people out there that and I'm going to name a few, and if I don't name you, it's nothing personal. It's just I haven't quite got to know you yet as much as I have these guys, and these guys are the ones that I kind of started watching YouTube for. And then that's why I've joined on. I mean, that's why not everybody watches me, and that's fine. I don't watch everybody, and that's fine. But people like Jay, Tom up in the Northwest Pipe Smoker up in Suquamish, Brother Key Pipes, Backcountry Pipes. Some of these guys I don't even know their real names, and that's fine. Pipe Scratch over in Denmark. I've just been now watching Astro Man 2112, and we had a pretty good little conversation, but a good conversation in the middle of the night. Of course, it was the middle of his afternoon the other day. It was like 3 in the morning here. But I would consider them my friends. If they came into my neck of the woods and they told me they were coming, I'd say, hey, let's meet up and have a drink or dinner, grab an appetizer or something, and smoke some pipes. If I was in their neck of the woods and they said, hey, you want to meet up, here or there, absolutely. I often joke with Tom every once in a while when I'm able to speak with him, and Tom's got 700-800 subscribers. I could be a little high, but that's a lot of subscribers. Could you imagine how many comments and personal messages he gets? So most of the time he answers me, but a lot of times I'll make comments to him like, I'm your stalker, this, that, and the other, and I'm watching this video over again, I'm watching these videos over again, because he hasn't been on there in a while. And he kind of jokes back, that's alright, not a stalker, but he's got good videos, some videos we watch over again. I watch over again. But then you gotta figure there's people out there when you talk about their friend, a lot of times I refer to someone, I'll just say, take care, sir, or great pipe brother, as in, brother of the briar, brother of a hobby, brother of, something, it's like, brother refers to being related. And we are all related with YouTube, through pipe smoking and YouTube and things like that. But so yeah, I don't often refer to anybody as friend or hey, thanks friend or anything like that. But I might feel that way. That's kind of more of a feeling for certain people that I've known. And there's people that I'm getting to know on there. KY Dugong. I'd have to look at my list. I've spoken to VSL David. I've actually done a podcast interview with him. But it's more business related, talking about pipes, pipe cleaning, things like that. But we all, when his wife was sick, we were all concerned about him and his wife and his family and everything. So we all felt something there. And when you begin to feel something, then you begin to think, there's some type of friendship there. It's like Tom's videos. It's amazing up there. His environment that he lives in, his house. He's out on a sailboat. I love his tea kettle that sways with the boat so it doesn't spill. He's out canoeing on the river or the lake there, you know, as the sun's setting, smoking a pipe. You know, that appeals to me. And at the same time, he's by himself up there. You know, so I feel for him. You know, I feel for him, you know, on both sides. But there are YouTubers out there that if you call them a friend, it's kind of like, whoa, I'm not going to be sending you any kind of Christmas present or sending you a Christmas card or birthday card, so don't get too attached. But then there's other of us that just see his friend just saying, well, I appreciate you and your videos, and you know, if we ever have a chance to meet, sure. If we don't, okay. We've kind of accepted this virtual reality of pipe smokers. So they're just my take on that. It's a good topic, because I thought about that when I wanted to call someone something or send them an instant message. I don't want to be like a stalker or anything like that. But you kind of start to feel comfortable with certain people, and so you say things a little differently or more often or things like that. It's a good topic. I still want to respond to Jay's restaurant video, because I got a good story. But anyway, let's check out the Pete. The Pete 302 is done. Whoa! I'll take you over here. I don't know if this is better light, but the Pete 302, all waxed up. Rims all cleaned off. I used Astro Man's idea for the cleaning the sterling silver. I used some fine ash from some pipe tobacco. Haven't smoked them yet. Got all the teeth marks out of it. They weren't too bad, but all of them gone. And if any of you don't watch Northern Embers, Northern and Embers is all one word, E-M-B-E-R-S. He's got some skills with the woodworking and stuff. I'm gonna send him a little backy. I'm gonna send him a Nording bowl and a stem, have him see if he can maybe do something for us. It's a really nice bowl, but I'll do another video on that later on. But if you haven't watched it, if you haven't checked him out, you gotta check him out. Anyway, there's the Pete. The Pete. But anyway, I gotta get some dinner going. Wife will be home soon. And the wife lost her job. We're gonna lose her job. Their store's closing. If you guys have heard on the news, all the border stores that are closing. Her store closed. Is gonna close. I don't know when. I think she's closed 4 or 5 businesses in like the last 10 years. She might be bad luck to them. She could look to me. So we'll get her some. She's bummed out. We'll get some dinner going tonight before we go to work. We'll see you guys later.